With the cancellation of Blood Moon leaving a sour taste in the mouth of many fans, this upset was quickly lessened a few hours later with the announcement of a new prequel show with a focus leading up to and on the Dance of Dragons, called House of the Dragon. In this video, I aim to break down everything we know so far about this new prequel series. We already know that a pilot based off George R.R. Martin's Targaryen history book, Fire and Blood, was close to being greenlit. News of this was already starting to surface about 2 weeks ago now. What surprised many, though, was the news that not only was this pilot real, but a full season of 10 episodes had already been ordered by HBO with a target air date of 2021. House of the Dragon was co-created by George R.R. Martin, the author of the Song of Ice and Fire series, and Colony co-creator Ryan Condal, acting as showrunner on the new series. Well-known Game of Thrones director Miguel Sapochnik will be co-showrunner with Condal. He will be directing the pilot episode and I presume more of the full season. Sapochnik is a good choice of showrunner and director for a show that seems to be about Targaryen history, so Aegon's conquest, the Dance of Dragons, and it will be likely very action heavy. With him directing episodes such as Hard Home, Battle of the Bastards and The Long Night for the main show, it seems a good fit for this show, which is also going to be very battle heavy, considering how many large scale battles there's probably going to be, some probably even bigger, was ever seen on the main show. For example, the Battle of God's Eye comes to mind, and the original Field of Fire. I have no doubt he'll be able to handle the biggest battles of the Dance of Dragons. As the poster for the series states, the series will use Fire and Blood, Martin's tome of Targaryen history, as a basis, meaning the show will be set hundreds of years before the main show. However, as Martin states on his blog post, just because it's set so long ago does not mean we will not see some of the places we know. For example, King's Landing and Dragonstone spring to mind, as well as places such as Harrenhal, which we will likely see. It's not clear how much of Fire and Blood will be told, and when in the timeline the show will take place. All that has been confirmed is that the events of the show will eventually lead to the Targaryen Civil War, the Dance of Dragons. So that could mean it starts from anywhere from Aegon's conquest to the reign of Jaehares I. If you want to see how I'd structure the show, check out my old video where I talk about how I'd like to see a Fire and Blood prequel and how I'd structure the series and handle some of the longer reigns such as Jaehares. I tend to lean towards the idea of Jaehares I as the start point. I would love for more of the past to be explored. From a series standpoint, it just makes more sense if that's what they're going for. I'm hoping for Aegon's conquest, but I'm expecting starting point of Jaehares. If they do start from Aegon's conquest, like I do say in my previous Fire and Blood video, I would expect it to be some kind of anthology with a changing cast and maybe quite some big time jumps during the longer reigns of kings such as Jaehares, with maybe a few characters that of course will cross over from season to season. For people who don't know much about the Dance of Dragons, the best way I think I can describe it is like the War of the Five Kings from the main books and show, but with a hell of a lot more dragons and kinslaying. Something I'm looking forward to a lot is that House of the Dragon will have much of what people love about the main show, especially during its early seasons. Big and large scale action sequences mixed with political intrigue. The dance is perfect for this kind of thing, as well as some earlier eras of Targaryen history. It would almost be like going back to the core ideas that made the early seasons of the show so popular. Another aspect that piques my interest is the idea that in one of George's blogs when talking about this pilot a few weeks ago, and from some of the press reports at the time, is that things may not be what we think we know. To me, this suggests that some fan speculation may get answered in the show. Some that comes to mind, depending how far back in the timeline we go, is the idea that Aegon was not the father of Aenys, but Aenys was actually a bastard, even though I personally don't believe that one. Or perhaps we'd find out the real circumstances of Maegor's downfall, and if the Faceless Men were truly involved at all, which some fans speculate quite heavily, and I do think there is a little bit of basis for. I think if this show works well and is popular, we may down the line get a Blackfire show, or maybe even a Robert's Rebellion as a miniseries, because I don't think there's enough content with Robert's Rebellion to last more than a mini 6 to 10 episodes. But this show has to do well for that to happen, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. As we get more information about House of the Dragon, I will make periodical video updates. I won't be doing what a lot of channels do, where every little bit of news or every rumour gets a 10-minute video. History and lore is still the main focus of this channel, but where so much of this channel is based around Targaryen history, I feel like it's important to talk about this. Are you looking forward to House of the Dragon? How much of the timeline do you think it will cover? Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, liking and subscribing would help me out a lot.